So, Ukrainian surface drone shot down a Russian Su-30, and it's a pretty interesting event. It's the first time in history, allegedly, that this has happened. Let's take a look at the video and how the shoot down occurred. It's got music. It's obviously the Ukrainian military YouTube channel, I guess.
Three, two, one, fight toss.
So the story, as reported by Defense Express, originally was Ukrainian surface drone shoots down Russian Su-30 aircraft with a missile for the first time in history. They said they used the R-73, which is the Archer, to shoot down the Su-30 50 kilometers from the city. Unmanned surface drone, the Magura V5, which we just watched the video. We'll go back and look at it. But this is the second time. Originally, there was one at the end of the year. They shot down an Mi-8 with the R-73. You can see here it's got IR, it's looking for targets. It finds the hotspot. It identifies. I wonder if it's using like an optical recognition or some kind of AI to help identify targets. But it looks like something's shooting at it. And it gets too close. It locks on with the Archer. You can see the seeker there. They're slaving the seeker to the whatever tracking system. And bam, they shoot it down. That's a little different from this one. Where you can see it's obviously a different system because this is not an Archer. This is an AIM-9 that they were using. I'll show you the next article here. But you can see it looks like it's got both some kind of recognition and tracking. This is white hot IR. And then maybe a velocity vector, like a trend or a track vector where it thinks it's going. And then that would be it slaving the seeker to that. And then the missile gets shot, hits, no flares observed. And why is that important? Well, so think about SAMs, right? Surface to air missiles, or sea to air missiles in this case. We get warning, right? You've got a RWR, radar warning receiver. The Su-30 has a pretty robust. It is radar. So optical or IR, unless it's got some kind of missile launch, missile warning system, which like the Apache has, some heavy aircraft would have. Fighters usually don't have, I think the A-10 does though, a missile launch warning system. So with no radar, and if they're tracking optically, they're using IR, infrared. It's a passive detection system. The Su-30 would get no indications at all. You would just be flying along fat, dumb, and happy, not know, because mobile SAM systems are a big threat, right? Because you don't know where they've positioned them, and if they're moving around, it's even harder. So this threat was probably unobserved, unknown until impact, unless they have some kind of missile launch warning or detection system, which I don't think they do. But imagine you're flying along fat, dumb, and happy, and this happens. Now, how do you avoid that threat? You fly higher, because the range on certain missiles doesn't go that high. However, this looks like it was flying medium, lower altitude, and optically tracked, and they took out the Su-30 fairly easily, which it's the first time, which means you can throw out, a bunch of these drones. I know they're pretty expensive, but if you can create an area, they're almost like mines, right? You create an area of drones that are moving around. You don't know where they are. You're basically shutting down the Black Sea because it's too high of a risk to get shot down. It's not like a radar-based SAM that once it starts emitting, then you can do suppression or destruction of enemy air defense tactics. This is a mobile passive SAM that emits nothing until it shoots a missile. Once it shoots the missile, it's still not emitting anything personally. It is, you're just launching a missile. So it's a pretty dangerous and lethal threat, and scary from a fighter pilot's perspective, because you just don't get any indication. You know, it's not like Top Gun where the IR missile gives you that indication in the movies is from the radar. So if you're passively tracking and passively targeting through some kind of optical AI system that recognizes targets, or just IR, that's pretty good, like an ERST, you're never going to get an indication. It's just one day I'm flying fat, dumb, and happy. Next day I'm in a shoot or dead. So, but very interesting stuff. Air warfare is changing, and I'm sure there'll be counters to this. I mean, what's the answer? You're going to need missile launch detection and warning systems like other aircraft have, to be able to do flare programs that'll hopefully defeat the missile. But you can't flare off a missile that you don't know is there, right? You don't know. So they'll have to switch to ground mapping radar, ground. You know, if you're in air to ground mode and the radar can paint targets in the water, that's one way to do it, but it has to paint and recognize that that is a drone and not just a ship or something else. So interesting stuff coming out of Ukraine. I'm sure we'll learn more as the days go on. This is the article that says that it was the AIM-9, and then they show a picture of one with the AIM-9. But the one of the Su-30 crew members survived. They were rescued by a civilian dry cargo ship, which the Ukrainian drones did not attack. The other fighter crew member did not survive. So it was 2 people in there. Very sad for them. It was the V7, Magura V7. 3 drone boats were used in May 2nd ambush on Russian fighters. 2 of them opened fire at the Su-30. So very interesting stuff. Let me know in the comments what you think. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.